Pampas.
Pampas, okay, pampas grass, gotcha.
They're asking for a mic check from you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep,
Check,
yep.
check, check.
Cool.
Okay.
Welcome back. It is Wednesday, and that means our plants and gardens expert, Craig Hignite, is here with us to answer all of your burning questions on our WQ80 Facebook page. And we're actually going to get started here with Carrie, who's asking, when is a good time to trim pampas grass?
Okay, all of these perennial grasses in the garden, in about a month, you're going to go out and you're going to reduce them to about 4 to 6 inches above the ground. And please do that. I'm watching a clump over there on Devil's Glen Road in Bettendorf, and they have not cut it back in 3 years, and it's really turning into a mess. So 3 inches tall in about a month.
All right, this is from Paula. She says, my hydrangeas have become so top heavy they reach the ground. What should I do?
Okay, what you can do is go ahead and cut them back. Now, if this is the big mop heads that normally can fall over in the rain and the wind, you can take them down to about 8–10 inches above the ground. They're going to come back just fine and bloom very well. If you've got pinks and blues, you don't prune them until after they get done blooming early in the summer.
Alrighty, perfect. So this one's from Rick. So when I returned from an extended trip, I found that the soil in my greenhouse plant pots had taken on a rust coating. The plant leaves have a sawdust or a dandruff thing going on that completely covers the leaves.
Boy, that is something totally different. Now, the rust color could very well be a mold of some kind, and don't worry about it. All potting soils are alive. They have mold in them. Actually, there are fungi that are beneficial to the roots of the plant. As far as the dust on the leaves, go ahead and brush a few of them off and see if it comes back. It's very unusual for something like that if somebody hasn't been cutting wood in the area.
All right, this one's from Theo. We are planning to plant a maple tree this spring. Good choice. I think those are beautiful. He wants to know which variety produces the brightest multicolored leaves.
Well, the one I always suggest is the Brandywine. Has excellent fall color. It is a red maple. It's not a super huge grower, but it's a male, and you're never going to get a seed off of it, so it's never going to become weedy in your garden. You can also go with some of the sugar maples that are not quite as fast growing. They have excellent fall color.
Alrighty, so Robert moved to a new house and has an overgrown grapevine. What is the best way to handle it?
Okay, you need to be getting out there now and find the main trunk that should have been established when the plant was young. You're going to go ahead and remove all that vine, and we're probably talking, many, many feet of grapevine down to about, I'd say 12 inches away from the main trunk. You're starting into a rebuild, so you save the 12 inches, everything else is compost. Oh, you could also make wreaths out of it.
All right,
Perfect.
Craig, thanks. Well, we're going to take a quick break for a couple minutes. Make sure you head on over to our Facebook page and get in all those questions that you have for Craig when we come back.
cut it off at ground level, you have blanched asparagus.
All right, from Rick, when is a good time to transplant a small blue spruce?
I would say in probably about a month and a half. Again, although I think, I wish I still had my yard so I could go out and turn over a couple of shovels of dirt. As always, we've got to wait for the ground to thaw out. It has. Wait for it to dry out. I think it has. So it can go in the ground anytime now that the ground is workable, and that means not too wet.
All righty, perfect. Well, from Myrna, what causes little gnats around houseplants, and what can you do to get rid of them?
Okay, the little gnats are fungus gnats. It's telling you that you've got a wet plant somewhere in the house. It takes an extremely high water content to grow a fungus gnat. So keep an eye on your plants, make sure that everybody is drying down properly. That breaks the breeding cycle on the fungus gnats. And you can use mosquito bits. It looks like a grain that you soak in water, and then you use that water to water your plants, and it kills off the larvae in the soil for the fungus gnats.
Okay, so from Sheila, when should elderberry bushes be trimmed, and can they be hard to prune?
Well, they shouldn't be that hard to prune, but elderberries, they're actually kind of a small shrub, so you want to do your pruning early in the spring. You don't want to get too carried away with the pruning because you don't want to sacrifice this year's crop of fruit. But it's one of those things where don't get too carried away. You never remove more than a third in any one year in any pruning.
All righty, well, Douglas is wondering, can you use rooting hormone or powder on garlic cloves?
It's not really necessary. The roots are already forming at the bottom of that clove. It doesn't really help, although when you plant, I would suggest watering everybody in with a good dose of root stimulator, which is the same product that would be in the powder, but it's going to saturate the whole soil. So when the roots come out, they're going to hit that, and they're really going to take off. You can go ahead and use the root stimulator. Garlic is a very heavy feeder, so you can use that root stimulator about once a month for the whole season.
All righty, perfect. Well, that's all the time we have, Craig. As always, thank you so much for joining us, and be sure to join our Facebook Live with Craig each and every Wednesday, and there you can submit your questions to be a part of the conversation. GMQC at 11 returns in just a few moments.